Hello and welcome back to the Shmuseum, where today we're going to be continuing the project with our Clio V6, and we're going to be heading up to Scott at SG Motorsport to break down the engine and have a look at exactly what we're doing on that side of things. And when I say we, I suspect I more mean Brad, and actually I'm going to spend some time behind the camera on this one.
Possibly.
Because you are, as we've said many times, the more mechanical of the two of us. And we're going to be taking apart the engine, doing the timing belt, doing the auxiliary belt. I think maybe, what are they called? Not glow plugs, coils, ignition coils. Yep. I think are going to be changed, which are fairly simple. Even I could do that. But we're going to be going through a full engine overhaul, as obviously the car sat around for many years, not being driven. So it's going to need a few things changed before we do get it out on the road.
Yeah, and just to clarify, when we say we're going to do it, you've seen our recent fails in the workshop.
Yes.
So basically, Scott's probably going to do most, and if there's a chance where we can get our hands dirty and get involved, we'll get involved.
I think that's
you've probably worn the worst colour t-shirt for potentially working on a dirty, oily engine.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm not planning to.
Okay, so yeah, you'll go behind camera. That's fine. We'll make something work.
And you, not that you can see, guys, Brad's wearing the best colour because he's in black. So
prepared.
Yeah, you have come ready for working on an engine. So we're going to head up to Scott at SG Motorsport. And obviously, I think that brings on the debate of what do we take?
Yeah, the debate that isn't really a debate.
No, we've cut this one really short and we're just going to go in the CUPRA Born because we're actually genuinely loving this thing. And even me, right, I'm going to make this admission right here, right now, as someone who has slated EVs, who has stated he hates them on this channel plenty of times. The CUPRA Born actually just works. And me and Brad were just discussing this off camera, actually. It's not a performance car. It's not anything like that. The Taycan, there's a lack of emotion. There's a lack of passion there. But with the CUPRA Born, it's just a car. It's just to get you around. And as a result, I think it really works. And I mean, you've actually been dailying it this whole week.
Yeah, it does a very good job. And speaking of dailying it, we currently have around 250 miles of range. So
should be enough to get to Scotland.
I don't actually have any range anxiety anymore. And having used a few public chargers while out and about, it's a fairly simple process. You can go for, if we go to a services for lunch at some point, or on the way home and we need some charge, go there, plug it in, grab our food. And then
sorry, I'm just laughing because you say it's a very simple process. Sorry, guys. What happened the first time you went to go and charge?
Well.
Right, so it can be a simple process, but the infrastructure in the UK isn't still there, and you may well go around 3 or 4 different chargers until you actually find one.
Just pretend I didn't go to a place where there was no charger, and then a charger that wasn't working, and then it was fine after that.
And then a charger that was full up as well. So
yeah,
it's all part of the fun. But I think we should stop waffling, jump in the CUPRA, and let's get on the road.
Quickly before we go, we have some other parts to bring down with us, not necessarily going on the car right now.
Well, the car's not there, so they're definitely not going on the car.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I mean by that. It's early. We're tired.
We obviously have our Goodrich braided brake lines, which are going to transform the pedal feel of the car, along with maybe some other brake upgrades we haven't announced yet.
And braided lines actually are very, very good.
They are. I mean, you've recently fitted these to your car, which again was a mechanical success that we've recently done.
Yeah, exactly. So mechanical successes on my car, but as soon as we try and do anything on Tim's, it's like fail, 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 fail. So,
but do you know what? This is how you learn, right? You try, you fail, you try, you fail. So we have our Goodrich braided brake lines. Down here, we have the all-important Quaife LSD, which we will be taking along with us. And yeah, I actually can't wait to go down to Greg's and get the stock one out so that we can then experience the difference of what that is. And then, of course, we have our KWV3 kit, which again is going to transform the handling of this thing. And obviously being height adjustable, we can sit it down a little bit and make it look that little bit better. Although I really think we've discovered we need to get some spacers for it as well. So
yeah, spacers is on the to-do list.
Yeah, I'm looking into those. So yeah, let's go and load these up into the CUPRA. So I have bagged myself the really heavy box of the brake lines, whilst Brad has actually been quite clever using the little trolley we've got here.
Not just a pretty face.
Got the rest of them.
We're smart.
Not just a... Who said you were... Anyway.
Most of the time. Let's go and load these up.
It helps if you unlock the door.
It does, yeah.
So we find ourselves in slow-moving traffic doing about 30 miles an hour. Does that mean you can guess what road we're on?
We're in the car park of the M25.
We are indeed.
Typical, like...
We are indeed. Traffic is not great, and it's not great all the way. And we've had some hold-ups this morning because, I mean, we said to Scott we'd be there at 10. That's 11:19 arrival.
Sorry, Scott. I haven't touched the accelerator pedal or the brake in a long time. Adaptive cruise works very well in this. Literally, it's just doing everything for me.
I'm just here with my massage seat.
Is that a private jet landing in front of us? Or is that just a plane?
I feel like it's just a plane.
It has like a funny shape at the back. Who knows? We could flight radar it. We can have a look, maybe. Yeah, just not driving, basically. Well, I'm driving, but I'm not driving. If that makes sense. Like, literally, my foot is here, ready in case I need to press the brake, but this is doing everything. Accelerates, brakes. Accelerates, brakes. You can probably guess where we are from this cat. If you remember when we first came down here, this is the cat that tried to attack Tom. Insert clip here. I say tried, it did. I don't really know what it's doing. It's got its head in a hole. But more importantly, over this way, CUPRA is now parked up. We've got some stuff to get out of that. And we are in Clio V6 heaven down here with Scott at SG Motorsport. There's just Clio V6s everywhere. This is great. And we have an engine ready to be worked on. Right, shall we get started, Scott?
We can do.
Welcome back to the channel, first of all. Do you want to run us through what we have planned, basically, and just where we're starting?
Okay, well, we're going to get rid of this massive tail box, get that off out of the way. Then we're going to get the gearbox off, get all the clutch and flywheel off, get the TTV flywheel on and the clutch on ready. Then we're going to swap over and get the cam belt done, cam belt water pump. Obviously we've got a broken off bolt in there we need to address. Got the new auxiliary kit. Then carry out the engine service, give it a clean up, and have it ready for when the car comes back.
It's exciting because we're not actually that far away from having a car back together. It's just obviously the small processes of getting things actually ready, like you say, cleaning it up, making it look nice.
So far, just going to point out here, every time we're back at the Shmuseum workshop, I pick up a hammer, Brad looks at me like, what on earth are you going to do with that? The tool that Scott has used most so far today in removing this exhaust is a hammer. So, he is the expert. I clearly do what the expert does. Does that make me an expert? If I just hammer stuff away as well?
Not quite.
It's not how it works, no?
Probably not, but
Okay.
when the expert has to use a hammer,
With a hammer.
Ah, okay, that's
exactly.
what I'm lacking. is
You don't
the
have the
finesse.
SG Motorsport finesse.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah. I can't believe the progress already. I appreciate the exhaust is still kind of there, but it's pretty much apart. It's just being held on by rust at the moment.
How do you feel about getting your hands dirty?
Yeah, I'm down. This completely goes against the conversation we had at the start of the day at the
Literally,
bar
literally.
about me not getting my hands dirty because I'm not wearing the appropriate coloured clothing, but I am down.
Just hold that and...
Okay. See, I'm not even going to get them dirty. He's made it nice and prepared for me. That's heavier than you expect, and it's only been held on. Well, it's still held on at one side so far.
No, we could have weighed it next to the Quicksilver one if we'd remembered it.
Ah, could we really? There we go.
on the floor.
Well, that is, I mean, you're going to have to take my word for it at this moment in stage, considerably heavier than the Quicksilver. So, yeah, anyway.
You don't ruin everything around it, whereas with oxyacetylene and everything, you glow up what's seized and everything else around it.
Okay, so that's the reason to use an inductor over
Yeah,
anything
so
else.
It's like you'd use them. You normally, like taking that nut off, if that's seized, you would get your heat, but you would generate heat all into this whole area, probably melt the boot as well.
Okay.
Whereas with this, you just heat the nut up.
Okay, cool. So it's just a lot more like precise.
Yes, precision.
Tool goes on. Let's get down here. Hopefully I don't die underneath here. Oh, look at that. I can see a lot of smoke. Oh, and it glowing. Oh, that's cool.
So, Brad, I'm going to ask you. Do you know why you would heat a bolt to remove it?
Because it expands. Metal expands with heat.
I'm just checking. Listen, we're idiots in a garage, so I'm just double checking that.
Idiots most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Simple. You just have to remember not to touch the bolt when it comes off.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not going to go well for anyone.
Nicely done.
And then Tom's special tool.
Oh, it's time for the hammer. Tom's special tool. It's a good name for it, right?
I feel like from now on that's what that should be referred to. So, speaking of Tom's special tool, which I think is a brilliant name, by the way, Scott also has a very special tool, which is on the wall over there, which is a snap-on screwdriver.
For giants.
But it's not just any snap-on screwdriver. If I come and, it's obviously mounted on the wall, but if I stand here, hopefully that gives you a perspective of how big that is.
It's literally...
What a cool thing. Oh, it moved. Sorry, Scott.
It's a snap-on screwdriver for giants.
That is, yeah. That's when you've got a really tough screw that doesn't want to come out, you pull out the big boy.
I'm sure he's got a screwdriver for Tim as well. Let's see if we can find that.
Okay, yeah, let's find Tim's one. We have found it. So obviously this is the screwdriver for giants and normal people, but we found one that's appropriate for Tim, which is, there you go. That's about right. I think that's all we could trust to let him loose.
Sorry, Tim.
You're not here, we've got to make fun of you. And the thing, Tim wanted to be here, but obviously the Zenvo, a few other bits and pieces.
Euro trips, yeah.
Yeah. And don't worry, Tim, next time you come up, we'll find something for you to do some screwing with.
Yeah, and you can tell me what a Zenvo is.
Where are we at now? So this is gearbox bolts.
Yeah, this is.
It sounds like you're making a mess.
This is bellows and bolts. That's because your engine keeps weeing.
Sorry.
So after our conversations this morning, Scott has just said to Brad, do you reckon you could lift off the gearbox? And Brad's here making excuses for why he can't.
Yeah. Because I know that
And he plays football is one of them.
Exactly, can't injure myself. I have a funny feeling that it's quite heavy.
Well, it's a gearbox, Brad. It's not
Exactly.
a pack of sweets, is it? Of course it's heavy.
I'm not here to break myself or the Clio V6 engine.
You'll
That's why I don't want to touch it,
fine.
because I don't want to break it. So we'll leave it to Scott. who's the expert.
You'll be fine. Just lift it off. Under Scott's expert guidance, I'm sure we will be fine.
Yeah.
What I can help you with, Scott, is if you
Let
want
me get my video ready so I can film it as well.
Exactly. So if you want to swap roles and I'll do the unbolting thing, I can do that bit.
Oh, there you go then. Take that bolt out of there.
Nice. There we go. Bolt's coming out.
He's like, go on, then you think you can undo a bolt? Undo a bolt. He's probably give you the most awkward one.
I've done it.
Oh, he's already
I don't know what you're on about, mate.
He's already undone it.
I don't think he has. He's just saying that now.
We have a
Well
bolt.
done. Well done.
Where are you putting the bolts?
It's there.
There, cool. Right, what's next?
So we don't think this has ever been off, do we?
I wouldn't imagine so. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Nothing in the small amount of history we have suggests it has. And just like that, gearbox gone. Revealing bare engine, clutch plate.
Obviously, you can see here the clutch is quite worn because this is the self-adjustment
Right.
springs. And
Okay.
I'll show you how all this works in a minute. 'cause
So
we've got-
should they not be as compressed if it was
well, they
less
should
worn?
be. If it's less worn, they'd be more
Oh,
compressed.
they'll be more compressed.
So,
Okay.
it's not at the end of its life, but it's pretty close.
So it's actually a really good job that we are obviously doing this with you, and part of it is the black diamond clutch that
Yeah.
we're putting in, the refurbished clutch, and obviously the TTV lightweight flywheel. So if we didn't do it, it was due really soon anyway.
The release bearing's a bit worn out as well, so.
Okay, so that's something to look at as well. Are we actually able to get hold of release bearings for these at the
Yeah, you
moment?
supplied me one of those.
I did.
Yeah, with the slave cylinder.
I knew that.
Yes.
We're just forgetting what we do have. We have so much for this. car
But that is the thing.
we're
We've got
forgetting.
so much stuff for this car that, yeah.
Go on then.
Go on, Brad.
Grab hold of that.
Lift it up.
What, here and here?
Yeah, there and there.
I mean, it's heavy, but not too bad.
It's heavy, but enough for you to lift it 6 inches.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this a little bit more, and we will join you guys shortly.
Great.
And there we go. There is the old clutch disc.
Not too bad.
There's still a bit of life left there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's
Not-
getting down a tiny bit on its rivets, like.
Yeah.
But all this in here, look, this is like the clutch material. So if you just do that with you just
That's where
So-
it's been wearing away.
yeah, and it's just all. And then obviously the dual mass flywheel should. I mean, that's actually quite good. That flywheel.
Okay, so just like you saying that as well, the TTV lightweight flywheel that we're moving to, is that dual mass as well, or is that single mass?
single mass.
That's single mass. So that's going to be a little bit more chattery.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit more race car.
It will sound like the gearbox bearings are gone.
Amazing.
You know, which is why you spend all that money on a GT3 RS.
Yeah.
We have one flywheel off of the car. Just good. Clutch, flywheel. And is this the new one or is this something different?
Yeah,
this is our new one.
You can open that.
I'm going to open this and see what we have. Oh, look at that. Look at the difference.
Okay, so it's weighing time. So we have our original dual mass flywheel here and our TTV lightweight flywheel that we're going to be replacing it with, and a set of scales, which I'm definitely not going to be standing on just for the avoidance of doubt. But if I grab the original one here, which is going to be quite tricky.
Turn this on.
Oh, there we go.
If I turned it on. Have I not turned it on again?
No, right. Should we do it the Scott way? There we go.
You have to give it a bit of a kick.
Right, so we'll do it the Scott way. Let's get this one on. And we will find that is looking about 13 kilograms. So, whip this one off.
And now you need to open this one up.
Now I do need to open this one, for which Scott has given me a knife, which Brad is quite concerned about.
Yeah, and Scott's also concerned about it, so do not scratch the surface.
Yeah.
Careful.
I have been told I will... Oh wait, it hasn't even... I've been so gentle, not even gone through.
Oh, that's good, because you can't damage the new one. Do you approve of what he's doing?
Of course he does it. This is what happens when you deal with office staff.
Yes.
Office staff? I wish. Right, anyway, we'll join you in a second.
5 hours later, and we're there.
There we go!
Finally. Right, scales on. There we go. You need some new scales, Scott. Go on, let's get this on.
You're saying these new people here.
Yeah.
We're not going very well. So, all right, let's get this one on. 6.1 kilos.
So we've basically
over half the weight, which is going to make an insane amount of difference with the way this thing revs up and gets down the road. So, anyway, I think I should probably hand this one over to Scott because he's bored of me touching it now, and that one goes straight on the car.
This is going straight on.
There you go.
Shiny parts are always good, aren't they?
Can I just say, I've done nothing and I've already ripped gloves.
And that was just opening the packaging.
I was just opening the package. Do you know what? I did accidentally pull out one too many earlier on, so...
Oh, and these are Clio V6, acid yellow.
They are, yeah, some sort of.
Kind of.
Sort of.
You just need to hold that, stand there and hold that and stop it from spinning.
I'm really jealous of his torque wrench though. Like, we're used to the old school analog.
I mean, yeah. Scott's just got digital, like...
You know, they do come with mortgage assessment forms.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it can't be cheap. Okay, so we are over here. Scott will be talking the flywheel bolts up. God, look at that. Meanwhile, you are stopping that too.
I don't know if I'm doing anything. Am I doing anything?
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
The engine isn't turning, so I'd say yes.
I'm just holding a bit of pressure. So my question is, if you didn't have two donuts like us here, how would you do this?
Much easier.
I would prop that bar up that side,
Okay.
and but you've asked to help, so we'll help it.
We have ourselves. Yeah. It's fun to be involved. Like the engine going in the Clio V6, or Tim's Clio V6, and we get to be a part of this.
We're doing the angle torque now, which... Are we? Is this the angle
That's
torque?
sorted now.
Okay,
Well
done.
done.
All done. Done? Okay.
Well done, Brad.
Flywheel bolted up. Well done, Scott.
I mean, I had to help.
You didn't have to.
Didn't have to. Just made his life easier for once today.
Right, I can see Scott has our new clutch from Black Diamond Performance. And there we go. Look at that, nice and shiny. And at some point this would have started life as something like this, would it
Yeah,
not?
that's right. Yeah, and it's been
So it would have been a used one that's been refurbished and remanufactured, I guess.
Yeah, so they obviously clean this up, put new rivet, new material on, to the plate, and then the cover, they go through and make sure they're obviously probably machine something off this to make sure it's dead flat.
Okay.
And then
Just a little
this
skim.
is the self-adjusting clutch.
Okay.
Which we need to just put it in the clutch tool and check it.
Yeah.
Because if that doesn't self-adjust, what you end up doing is you end up putting the car 100% back together, and you don't know whether it self-adjusts until you put it in gear.
Okay.
Talking from past experience, I've had one which didn't self-adjust, and
You had to take the
all
car apart again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely not ideal.
So this is clutch pressure plate tool to check that it's working correctly, and obviously it enables you to reset the clutch, you know, if you have to. So
does this just basically apply the same pressure that the actual clutch plate would to then test if it works?
yeah, so this will so this is like the release bearing. So
Yeah.
so the slave cylinder. So as you're pushing down on it, like with your foot.
Okay, so this is the same as you pressing the clutch
Yeah.
effectively.
So
Okay.
actually, it's working. So this covers okay.
Yeah, you can see the springs.
So they work fine.
Amazing.
So we're working fine with that. And then you just push that back.
And do the reset.
There we go, clutch plate going back in, and then the clutch cover goes on top.
So now that we are finished with the back end of the engine, we have now moved round to the front. Belts are already off, as you would have seen, and wow, that is not looking overly healthy there, is it? That is just pure rust. So Scott is going to start dismantling the front end of the engine so that we can get to all the timing belts and stuff and start refreshing this beast.
As you can see, we have a leaking water pump.
Ah, yes. It's a good job we're replacing that then.
Yeah. So obviously this has had a cam belt in the past, because when you put your timing pins in, so that's locked into the bottom, and then you put the pins in here to lock the cams. And as you can see, all the pulleys, especially this one, I would say this one is 1 tooth out.
Okay. Not good.
So the timing of our engine currently is not correct.
No.
Does that mean there's potentially piston or valve damage inside, or it's not that far out?
No, it would. So on the exhaust side, the car will run fine. If it was 1 tooth out on the inlets,
Yeah.
the camshaft sensor would bring that up.
Okay.
So, but it's kind of a common occurrence for a car that's had the cam belt done in situ, because you can't actually see what you're doing, you know, and you just end up doing a load of damage.
So that's probably a prime example of why most people say you need to drop the engine of these.
Yeah,
to do
I
the
like
cam
to
belt.
I like to drop the engine out, because it's not a lot of work for me, and I can just get to everything. I mean, like that broken bolt, you're not going to sort that broken bolt out without taking that bracket off.
Yeah.
And you got to take, you know, you have to have the engine out to get it out. We'll get the new pump, but that's quite free. That is.
Should it not be?
It should have a bit of resistance, you know,
Okay.
but that bearing is probably
Gone.
on its way out.
Okay.
It's a genuine pump as well.
But that shows this must have been done, because you said the timing belt was done, but does that suggest? Either the water pump wasn't changed, or it was done quite a while ago?
Possibly.
Yeah, when parts were actually available.
Yeah,
One or the
possibly.
other.
It's possibly done at a dealer or whatever. But the next hurdle is this baby.
So is that a vice and a drill and a something along those lines?
No, that's a trip to the engineering shop, because it has to be
Okay.
100% correct, because the bolt is that long. So if you get it out a tiny bit,
Right.
the bolt will go in at a tiny bit of an angle, and you'll snap it.
A few moments later.
Back from the engineering shop, just having had the broken bolt drilled out, helicoiled, so ready to go back on.
And while you've been gone, we've gone for lunch, and now we've got this weather outside, which is awful.
Well, it's much needed, you know, because just coming out of a drought, so I expect we'll be in flood
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think summer might be over. So that's back on, and then we can start putting all of our new parts from our kit back onto the engine. And speaking of kit, here we go.
It's been a long time since I've seen this box.
Customer supplied cam belt kit, this is.
It is indeed. It was actually supplied for us by Paul at carspares.co.uk. So once again, huge thank you to you, Paul, as well as a few other bits for this car. So yeah, it's nice to see it finally going on. All right, well, it's looking like we got some progress. There is a belt back on there. Scott, are we done?
So cam belt's all on, new water pump, all timed up, got all the timing pins in,
Okay, yeah. And that's now done correctly, obviously.
belt tension set up. So just a matter of putting all the other brackets and everything back on, making sure it's all clean, and yeah, carry on.
Awesome stuff. Now, I just want to talk about this blue Clio V6 that we have sat here at the front of Scott's workshop. And if we come round here, you will notice it's not just us that keeps everything on CTEC smart chargers. Here, Scott does as well. And what he's actually got is a very clever solution of where to fit a CTEC indicator panel for the charger to plug in, which means you don't have to take out this entire bin, which otherwise you have to get to the battery and the cable. And that's kind of what we were doing with ours initially, and putting that in and out or just leaving it out, yeah, that's not the ideal solution. So this clearly is, and I think we need to get ourselves one of those.
Well, this is the whole thing with the V6 story. It's slowly coming out. It's you know, people are actually coming out with what actually happened and everything. And
do you think that's because the cars are becoming like rarer and they're becoming more cherished, that these things are now coming to the forefront?
Yeah, and people need to kind of know, like, you know, it's, they are hand built. You know, compare a phase 1 to a phase 2. You know, the phase 1 is rustic. You know, they're not all the same. You park them next to each other. The panel gaps are slightly different, and you know, a phase 2's more finished.
Okay.
You know,
more refined. Yeah.
Refined.
Yeah.
Out of the two, the phase 2's the better car to drive.
Okay.
But the phase 1 is the original one.
Yeah. From what I understand, the phase 1 is even snappier than the phase 2s, which are fairly snappy to begin with.
But the phase 1s haven't really got a massive amount of
power.
You know.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've got asthma.
Just struggling to breathe a little.
Yeah, they struggle to breathe.
Yeah.
Hence why you can see why they go so much better with just the inlet manifold alone.
And is it just this that caused the increase from, was it 225 to 255, something like that?
So 230, 255, but a good one of these are produced 240, 245 at the tops.
Okay.
No, they got slightly different camshafts in these. The pistons are slightly different, and the inlet system, and obviously they done more trick on the engine management, etc. So.
Well, I'm very curious, once this is all back together and inside our V6, when you drive it, what you guess the power is, because we will put it on a dyno to find out. So I'm very interested to hear your guess as to what this is making. And obviously the BMC air filter, Quicksilver exhaust, things like that should give it a couple more.
Yeah, it should help it. You know, but then having a clean throttle body that will help. But I'm just going to take the injectors out, get them serviced.
Okay.
They're buried down in there. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to get them out, but we get that done. Get the old girl breathing a bit.
Well, I guess we should probably say thank you very much for all of your hard work today and getting this looking like an engine again. Near enough ready to go back in the V6. Obviously, as you said, you're going to do a few other bits, but I think we're going to hit the road, jump in the CUPRA and head back towards the Shmuseum.
Welcome back to the CUPRA Born, where we've been driving for almost an hour, and we have 100 miles of range left, so we should be all okay to get back, I think.
Theoretically.
No, all jokes aside, like we said, with Scott before we left, range anxiety with this, we actually don't have any of it. Like, you just get on the road, cruise control on, and you don't worry about it until the car goes, you're running out of range, and then you worry about it and make a plan. But yeah, we're making some good progress.
And we have made it, just like that. We're back at the Shmuseum with the CUPRA Born, which is now back on the Zetec Charge Storm connected to getting some juice back. And do you know what? I think we did really well. Brad, give us the details.
We had just under 50 miles of range left when we pulled it back in here, which was about 17 or 18% of battery.
Okay, which is not bad. And we've done 230-ish miles today?
Roughly 230 miles.
So we've done 230 miles and used 200 miles of range.
Yeah.
Maybe just like, maybe 203, 204, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's quite impressive considering it's all high-speed motorway. And as you pointed out earlier on, you're effectively...
so I've just realised I didn't point it out earlier on because there was a clip where the mic was muted. So I didn't point it out, but we were discussing how we were on 150 miles of range when we got to Scots.
Okay.
Which I was trying to figure out if it's bad or not. But the cool thing about like this is when you have it in a town or a city where you're constantly accelerating, braking, that means you're regenerating. So you're instantly not using as much of your mileage and your charge as you have.
On the motorway, in effectively a one-speed car, you're not at max RPM, but you're quite close to, right?
Yeah,
so it's the same as sitting at 5,000 RPM.
Yeah, it just drains it sort of a lot quicker, hence we use a fair amount. So if we were just to do that whole journey going on normal roads, not motorways, we'd have a lot more range left, but it would obviously take us a lot longer to get there, but not bad at all.
No, not bad at all. And this, again, I know I say it every time, but going up to Scots, every single time we do anything revolving the Clio V6, just makes me so excited to see it somewhere amongst this. I mean, I'm guessing it will live over on the storage side, maybe on the lift next to the Heritage RS, but...
No, that's Humble Corner.
It is currently Humble Corner.
Except Humble Corner is now Humble Barn, so...
Yes, so we may have to rename Humble Corner. I'm so sorry to the gentleman that named it that, but things do move on, and we now have Humble Barn for you, so things are moving on upwards. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed coming along, seeing the teardown of the Clio V6 engine, getting that all put back together, ready now just for the car to leave Topaz, head up to Scots, and then this all can all go back together with its new parts, with the Quaife LSD, the KW suspension, and more, which you will see coming very soon. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for coming along once again. Until next time.